guys, I am so excited about this week's video. This is my Summerween reading vlog. I have never been able to participate in Summerween and it just perfectly lined up this week. It is a week long, I think it's July 5th, which is today through next Saturday, which I think might be July 12th. So it's a full 7 days of reading thriller, mystery, Halloween, spooky season books, and I am so excited. Let's go over what the prompts are for this vlog. So I wrote them down. There's only 5, which I think is totally manageable, and then I will go over the TBR that I have set up for myself. The first prompt is to read in the dark or at night. That's so easy. Like, I could do that. The next one is to read a thriller, read a book that has the sky on the cover, read a book that you've had on your TBR for a year or longer, and then read a novella, manga, or listen to a spooky audiobook. So let's go over the books I have picked for my Summerween reading experience. So oddly enough, my work, we have a book club at work where every other month a group of us get together and we discuss a book. And the book that we are going to be discussing in about a week and a half is called All the Colors by Chris Whitaker. As you can see, this has the sky in it. So this is perfect. It's a thriller and it has the sky. So what is this one about? This takes place in the 1970s and a wealthy family, they have a daughter who's targeted by who we find out is a serial killer, and an unlikely hero, Patch, saves her, but then Patch goes missing. And so this story so far, I've actually started it. I'm about, let's see, I think I'm a little under 100 pages through. I'm at 70 pages. Patch goes missing and the community is trying to find Patch. So you're going through kind of 2 timelines. You're going through the timeline of Patch and Saint is another female main character in this book. You're going through their timeline of them growing their friendship, and then you're going through the current timeline of them trying to figure out where Patch is. None of this is spoilers. This is all like on the flap of this book, so I didn't say anything that is going to give it away. I also don't even know what's going to happen to give it away, so there's that. There is a missing person mystery, a serial killer thriller, and then there's also some romance thrown into this book, so I'm kind of excited to see where it goes. It's definitely a slow start of a book, but I don't hate it. So we will see how this one goes. Okay, so for our next prompt, I actually selected 2 books. So this is going to be the read a thriller. So the first one I have is The Island by Natasha Preston. So this one is about an amusement park that is built for the rich and famous. It's a very exclusive amusement park on an island. 16 influencers are invited to tour and experience this park before it opens. Once they're there, they're realizing, okay, this place is like actually really cool. We're into it, but how do we get off? And that's supposedly the thriller aspect, is how these teens are going to get off of the island. And then the next option I picked is We Used to Live Here by Marcus. Oh my gosh. I'm not even going to try to, I'm sorry, Marcus, but I'm not going to try to pronounce your last name. So this is We Used to Live Here. So this is about a couple who actually flips homes, and they get this steal of a deal house, which sometimes a deal that should be a red flag in itself, is if you get something that's too good to be true. So they get this house on an amazing deal. While they're there in the process of flipping a home, a family shows up on their doorstep, and the husband/father of that family is like, hey, I used to live here. Can I show my kids around? Personally, if that was me, I would be like, no, please leave. But they allow this family to come in, and then strange things start happening. So one of the kids, I guess, goes missing, and then one of our main characters in this book then goes missing. They try to tell this family to leave, but I guess these people are just like not catching the hint that like, okay, this is like suddenly awkward. I need you to like go. They don't. So is something weird going on in this house, or are people imagining it and just starting to see things that aren't really happening? We will find out, and We Used to Live Here. Okay, so our next prompt I want to talk about is a book that's been on your TBR for a year or longer. I'm kind of ashamed to say that I've owned this book for so long and I have never touched it. And that is The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. I mean, this book is not new to the book world, so I don't think I need to go on about it too much, but if you don't know what this one is about, this is about our main female character, Casey. She's going through a stressful time in her life, so she goes to her family's lake house to try to escape her busy, crazy life, and she starts to like basically spy on this couple literally across the lake. She's like watching them with binoculars, which, Casey, you're kind of the problem. First of all, why are you spying on people? But we're gonna look past that, because then I guess she ends up saving one of the people that she's spying on from drowning. And again, this is all in the back, so, but we can look past the spying because I guess she ends up saving this woman's life. And then as she's continuing to spy on them, she's also creating a friendship with this woman that she saved. And then she's realizing, I guess, everything's not perfect in paradise and this couple is up to some funny business. So we'll have to see what gets on with this, but I'm really excited. This is something I've wanted to read for a very long time, and I think this is a great reason to read it. So let's see if we get this one done. The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. Read a novella, manga, or an audiobook. This, guys, this is the one I think I'm the most excited about. That is Victorian Psycho by Virginia, is it Fiato? Guys, I'm so sorry. I promise I can read. I'm just so bad at names, and that's just, it's gonna have to be something that you accept about me. I'm just going to forever be bad at names. Could I have looked it up before doing this? Absolutely. Did I do that? No. Just know that's a toxic trait of mine. So anyways, I guess, is someone back in history used to like take care of children, kind of be their teacher, their mentor, kind of help raise the children. So this woman shows up to be the governess, and I guess the man and woman of the house are just not nice for different reasons, but the governess is trying to exercise patience, be graceful with them, and I guess she has some gifts for them in Christmas time. So, okay, this might not be the best time to read this because I'm wondering if this actually might take place during Christmas, but I want to read it now. So I'm gonna read it now. It sounds like it's a psychopath thriller, so I'm excited. All right, so this is my Summerween TBR. It's pretty lofty, just given the fact that I am a mom, a wife, and I work full time. So we will see how many of these we are able to knock out. We are not putting pressure on ourselves to read all 5 of these. We're just gonna have fun and take part of something that's fun in the book community. So I'm very excited. I think I wanna go ahead and get started with Victorian Psycho. Guys, it's just calling my name. And the sun should be pretty much all the way down here within the hour. So I think I'll be able to knock off my read a novella and read in the dark prompt tonight. I'm really excited. So let's go ahead and get started with Victorian Psycho. That sounded psycho. I will acknowledge that the way I said that sounded psycho, but it's fine. We're not going to talk about it, and let's just pretend it didn't happen. Thanks. All right, you guys, so we are preparing for our little night reading adventure. In full transparency, I tried to make like this really cute, like fun little summer drink. I think I previously said in the video, I am not a tea drinker. It's not something I really enjoy, but I found in my pantry these like cold water infusion, I don't know. It's probably not, I mean, it's tea. I found it in the tea section, but I don't think it's like real tea. And it was like a blueberry citrus flavor. And I tried to be really cute and make this cutie little drink. And then the whole packet like exploded in the water. So we're just gonna call that a loss, and we're gonna change gears. And we're just gonna do a Gatorade and some, how my evening's going. Some popcorn. It's about to get dark, and we are going to get Summerween underway. So I'm really excited, and let's do it. Happy day 3 of Summerween. I wanted to give a quick reading update, but first I wanted to provide an update on Summerween day 2. I was unable to get any footage, unfortunately, of day 2, but I was just spending time with my family. But we are on day 3, and I'm here to give a quick reading update. Update number 1, I did finish Victorian Psycho by Virginia, I think it's Vieto. I'm not really sure. I still am not sure. They pronounced it a couple times on the audiobook and I'm still not sure. So for this one, I ended up giving it a 3 out of 5 stars. Overall, I thought the story was decent. I thought it was a great story. I will say, however, it technically takes place during Christmas time, leading up until Christmas, and then it goes up until the 12 days of Christmas and then a little bit after. So I will say, I think you're supposed to probably read this one closer to the Christmas holiday. However, it is spooky enough that I think you could get away with reading it for the fall spooky Halloween season. It is a governess named Virginia. No, that's wrong. There is a governess named Winifred, but they all call her Miss Naughty, which I think is kind of funny. And the two parents of the house are not wonderful for different reasons, and I won't really talk about why because I think they do play important parts to this book. But just know they're not great, and the children are both kind of awful in their own right as well. So the whole family is just kind of like, to be honest, because clearly our main female character, Miss Naughty, is a psychopath. She can't really feel normal human emotions. She's obsessed with very weird things, and I will say, some of the scenes in this book did make me feel a little squeamish. There were very descriptive scenes of her just kind of doing gross things. Uncooked food and like imagining blood and death and joking about eating children, just like kind of weird, gross things like that. So just know that going into this book. But overall, it was enjoyable and it was a quick read. I mean, I got through it in less than 24 hours. It was pretty easy to get through. And then I did move on to The Island by Natasha Preston. This is the book I picked for the prompt that was read a thriller, and this one is definitely a YA book. I'm on chapter 4 and it's definitely reading YA. Our main characters are all teenagers and they are social media influencers. So overall, not too much has happened with this story so far. We've met all of our main characters and we've met the owner of the island. He's definitely kind of a eccentric character. He's wearing a turtleneck and I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be taking place during the summer months. I could be wrong, but I'm getting summer vibes from this and he's literally wearing a long sleeve turtleneck. Oddly enough, one of the main characters in this book is a booktuber, which I think is really cool. But they're talking about how the amusement park is like set up very gothic. There's hardwoods everywhere. It's very dark. It has gargoyles and skulls. It's supposed to give off a very dark vibe and not like a super fun like Disney World theme park type vibe. So we shall see. I'm going to try to knock some of this book out tonight. Like I said, it is night 3 of Summerween, so I have plenty of time this week to knock off more of my TBR. But let's do some more reading in The Island by Natasha Preston. So I wanted to provide a quick reading update. I'm still trying to work my way through The Island by Natasha Preston. I am on, let's see, I think I'm in chapter 18. I'm about to enter chapter 18. And I'm going to be so brutally honest. I'm struggling with this book. I'm at 60%, so I'm going to try really hard to finish this one. But it's definitely not my favorite. There's no like, granted, I still have about a little over 100 pages left of the book. So take that as you will. So far, there has been no like adrenaline pumping scenes that just like really pull me in and give me the want to keep reading. I think that's why I'm struggling. I'm hoping, it will take a turn for the better. But right now, just to be completely and openly honest with you guys, I'm struggling. So I'm going to try to sit here for at least an hour, knock out some more of this book, and hopefully it gets better. I really don't want to DNF, and I'm telling myself I'm not going to DNF because I've gotten so far. So let's finish this book. right, happy Friday. Time for a reading update. It has been a couple of days since I provided my last update. I finished The Island by Natasha Preston. So I think in the last reading update I was talking about how I was really trying to get through this one. I mean, it did get better. It felt like it did get a little bit more like adrenaline pumping. It did get a little more interesting, but I wouldn't say I was invested in this book, to be quite honest. It was great. I mean, it was a great story, I think, for probably a YA reader, which is what this book is targeted for, so that makes a lot more sense. And I will say, historically, I do tend to struggle with like locked room thrillers. For whatever reason, they're not usually the books that are going to really get me going and get me locked in. It's just always kind of been that way. So I gave this one a 2 out of 5 stars. It's just not one that I think I'd recommend to many people, except maybe some younger readers. I definitely think that this is pinpointed to the YA audience. So not a bad book. I'm just not the target audience, and that's okay. So we finished our second book of Summerween. So now we're going to get into the third book I'm reading for Summerween. And this is one that I'm very excited for. And that is We Used to Live Here by Marcus. Again, I'm not going to try to butcher this poor guy's last name, but there you go. This book is everywhere. So I think it's a pretty popular one, and I haven't seen anything negative about it so far. So at this point in the book, we have our main couple. It's Charlie and Eve is the one we're having the most interaction with at this point so far. She is at home in a new house that her and Charlie have purchased to flip and sell. They are home flippers. This family shows up. The husband says that he grew up in this household and would like to show his family around. Which again, if that was me, if I was Eve, I would probably be like, no, like you're not coming into my house. She ends up letting them into their house. And then it just kind of starts to get spooky right off the bat. I am, 40 pages in. And it's been great. And then I haven't figured out really yet what this is, but there is like a map at the very beginning of the book. So maybe I need to go back through and figure out what all of that is. But it's not a very coherent map. So I'm really enjoying this book so far. I want to try to read a lot this evening since tomorrow is technically the end of Summerween. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to be able to finish this by tomorrow, but we shall see. But with all that being said, let's go ahead and get back into We Used to Live Here. Alright, we are at the end of Summerween, and I wanted to provide a quick update on the third and final book I was able to finish this year in the read-a-thon, and that was We Used to Live Here by Marcus Clyweir. I'm still really not sure. I mean, shocker. So this book I really enjoyed, and I am so glad I read it. I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars, and when I read it and it got to the end, I really wasn't quite sure what to make of it, and I'm still really not 100% sure what the actual outcome you're supposed to get from the book is, and I think that that's part of the allure of this book. And guys, when I tell you it is spooky, it's spooky. So I also listened to the audiobook of this, and there are these pages almost after each chapter called doc, and there's like a document number, but they all have like this Morse code at the bottom. And when I tell you that is so spooky to listen to on audiobook, I low-key dreaded it every single time because it is so spooky. How many times can I say spooky? Well, we're gonna count. I probably have said spooky 20 times. I will say that this book does take place during the winter season, but I think it's one that you can enjoy almost year-round. I would definitely give this one a shot. highly recommend. It had me on the edge of my seat. All right, and now that Summerween is officially over, I am actually already looking forward to next year and how I can tailor my TBR to provide an even better week experience. But I will say I had so much fun, and it was really great to get to participate on the Summerween Instagram and get to like kind of post my daily updates, see what everybody else was reading, and it just made the experience as a whole just so much fun, and it really felt like a true community. I was able to read 3 really great books. By far the standout was We Used to Live Here. This was 100% my favorite book of the week, and I am so glad I picked this one up and was able to get to it so quickly. Victorian Psycho. This was the first one I read in this vlog. Truly enjoyed my experience with this one, but also very creepy. And then I won't drudge on about it too much longer, but The Island by Natasha Preston. It was a fine book. I'm not the targeted reader for this book, but that's okay. I can still see why people enjoy this one. And again, I just wanted to thank you guys so much for being here with me this week. I hope you guys got to enjoy and kind of get some insight on how I spent my Summerween, and to give you ideas how to enjoy your Summerween next year. And hopefully by next year we've grown our community and we can experience it together. I would really appreciate it if you guys would consider liking and subscribing to my channel. I'm really trying to grow this community over here in my little corner of the internet, and I would love to have you here. Until next time, I hope you guys can find a really great book that you truly love, and if so, let's talk about it below, and I'll talk to you guys later. Also, you guys, let's make it a great goal for the next vlog to have some different angles than just right here. So that's my goal for the next vlog, so hold me accountable. Let's see if we can do it.